Now, with any assertiveness situation, you've always got two levels you can choose between. There's confronting the one-off, and then if that doesn't work after you've done it several times, you can confront them with their habit. You can go from the one-off to the habit. An example of this, my son has a friend who likes to crash on the sofa in my son's room when they get in from a night out. And this friend doesn't ask, he just comes in. And this is starting to irritate my son. So what should he do? Well, he should try the one-off 2 or 3 times first. He should say something like, "It's not convenient for you to stay here tonight," or "Is it okay if you don't crash on my sofa this time?" But then, if he has to, he could maybe go up a level and point out the habit. And he could say something like, "You quite often come in without checking with me first, which sometimes gives me a problem. So can we agree at the start of the evening how you're going to get home?" Useful phrases for pointing out habits are, "I don't like it when," or "Have you noticed how you tend to?" A great example of a habit that was never assertively confronted was at one of my customers. There was a bunch of really nice engineers, and they worked with a very chatty lady who had a habit of interrupting them, and she would come into their office and she would sit down and just talk for ages, when they were busy. And they weren't assertive enough to say, "Look, we don't like it when you come in." And what they used to do, they used to phone each other up from a different office. So if you saw across the hall that somebody had this lady in there, you'd ring them up. And then his phone would go and he'd go, "Oh, really? Sorry, I've got to go." So they used to bail each other out. And none of them were assertive enough just to say to her, "Actually, do you mind? It would be great if you didn't come and interrupt us when we're busy." Now, was it nicer for her to not tell her that she was too chatty? And I would say perhaps in the short term, yes, but not in the long run. They'd have done her a favour to tell her, I think. All this stuff was going on behind her back, and that was not authentic and was a bit of a shame. And anyway, if you do have to give somebody news they don't want to hear, like you interrupt too often, blame it on yourself. Just say, "I'm really funny about anyone interrupting me," or something like that, just in order to get the result you want. You know you're still okay, however you word the request to her. And you are doing her a favour. You're also doing a favour for all of your workmates as well. So, are there any people with habits out there that you need to confront? And do you think maybe it's time to go up from the one-off that isn't working to telling them about their habit?